Hey everyone, this is my reaction to the 13th and final episode of Overlord Season 2. So, what happened in the last episode? We had the girl that they attempted to rescue was actually succulent in disguise, so that caused a bit of an issues there. I think we had a bit of fighting between Demiurge and Ainz with their, alter egos, pretty much. And Evil Eye, we discovered, is quite the adorable pure maiden behind that mask. We also had the leader of the Six Arms Zero taken down, and Strunov gave Climb his special ring. Yeah, I think that sums up the episode pretty nicely. And of course, we've found out that Mamon's also working with the princess because he's an adventurer and they hired him, so now he's a part of this and they have nothing to worry about if they have him on their side. So yeah, let's get into it. 3, 2, 1, play. Oh right, we had that non-dangerous firewall. Wow, looking good, that armor there. Never thought I would see him in the armor in battle. But man, do they look cool walking through that. Yeah, somewhere safe, I'm sure. uh, Man, I haven't missed that sword. I'm sure it's something you guys can't handle. Just go for it. uh, that's what you get for being a coward. First man to run is first man eaten. I see a hero in the horizon. Holding on to all the ladies. Yeah, the overeating might be a tricky one though. Or you could just fall in one hit. I don't know what I'm talking about. uh, you call these difficult opponents? Yeah, Jelda both is no match for you. Especially because you're his boss and all. But we don't need to tell them that. The ultimate trump card. I think I saw something. Well, clearly, but I saw blonde hair. She wasn't supposed to be part of this, though, was she? Unless that was a ruse and she had some secret part of it that nobody else is supposed to know about. No, that's not her. That's another girl with long blonde hair. As a Shalltear in disguise. But I guess it's technically possible. True enough. It's not a bad offer, man. You should consider taking it. Yeah. You may have lost a Shalltear once, but I'm sure you can take it this time. And he's dead. Oh, he broke a nail. I think I've underestimated his skill. Yeah, I was actually about to point that out. Shalltear said something about him being like an adequate nail clipper when they first fought. I mean, don't be too proud of yourself. I do kind of like that mask, actually. You think you can damage my fingernail and get away with it? Still doesn't really look like Shalltear to me, but I mean, the voice sounds like her. I recognize that's frightening bug, and all the maids have shown up. Should be fun. Nice recovery there. You should probably take 4, actually, but I think you might be underestimating them. It's for your own good, Evil Eye. These girls are no pushovers. And clearly they had a sale on these masks. And I did not listen. She wants to watch you squirm. But you see how impressive I am, guys? I don't know how else I can explain it. Yes. Pachi, 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 pachi. Here goes our Chuni. And she's pretty good, yeah. I have wanted to watch her fight for a while. Forgot they called her that. Oh no, there's an all-eater thing behind you. Yeah, I thought the was drawn off. I wasn't completely sure. I'm not that familiar with his voice. Oh, the king himself has come to the field. Pretty impressive. Yeah, we could always use your help. One of the better Riestes Kingdom warriors. It looks nice that they're back on their feet. We can't have that. But yeah, they should be weakened, so I don't know how much help they'll really be in the fight. But nonetheless, all the blue roses are together, so... Well, what am I saying? Evil Eye's away. That's a really cool force field, though. Yeah, are you still sure you can take on 3 of these? Because you seem to be struggling with just 2. I'm just saying. And your insect magic isn't going to be that useful. Insecticide. How could they do something so ridiculous? Who do they think they are? Humans? And I think we just heard a mask break. Partially. And yeah, people did point out to me that you get to see her face in the ED. I'll admit I stopped paying much attention to the ED after the first time I saw it. It's just odd that she would wear a mask unless she had a very unhuman-like face, inhuman face. But, you know, if it's her preference, it's her preference. Maybe she's just that shy. Anybody home? I may or may not have cookies. Yes, please do. Not just for his sake, but for the audience who's not that smart. That is myself. Hopefully I can follow all of them. You're not alone. Nice. Yeah, that's the issue here. Yes. Pretend for a minute I don't know what most of them are already. Okay. I'm with you so far. Okay, yeah, I probably could have figured that one out if I really thought about it, but... Oh, I thought that was just a complete fabricated story, but... That's a really cool name. Ulbert's, his creator, right? Demiurge's. Because Touch Me created Sevis, and... I doubt he would care that much. But you would know him better than I do, so I'm not gonna question you. Yes. Well, I'm currently a little bit worried about Albedo's loyalty, but... Is there something else you wish to tell me? Okay. That's always good. You can always use more humans for experimentation. Of course. I mean, we're the bad guys here. Yeah, we kind of established that in the first season. There's lots of humanity. uh, yeah. Okay, yeah. Number 4. Yeah. That was obvious without being said, but yes. Yes, vanquish the evil demon that's made a name for himself. Meanwhile, Evil Eye doing her part. No, obviously, yeah, they wouldn't really be fighting. Savage as always. Yeah, she's one of the best girls. How could you not know her? Best non-Nazareth girls, I should clarify. So I can hate them properly. Well, of course you do. Man, such a creepy voice. Yeah, her voice think I messed up in the last fight. uh, oh no. Yeah, but that's gonna suck nonetheless. But yeah, you gotta play the role. Do I look like I care about your problems? Well, clearly he does care, but... Are we gonna break off more of the mask now? I wouldn't usually encourage somebody to punch the girl I like in the face, but in this instance, I can accept it. You need that mask off. Mamon's powerful strike against the foul demon, Jabalabadoodoo. uh, yeah, real is definitely the right word to describe this silliness. Please do. Claws versus enormous swords. What wins? Hellfire Mantle. That sounds like an object in an MMO that I would love to have. That is so cool. Fire, dark flames. Oh, he's using Lizard Man's weapon. We haven't seen that in a while. The gum. That'll cool you down. Of course, you both already knew that. I am far too weak to defeat somebody as powerful and amazing as you, Mamon. Yeah, it's unfortunate indeed. Our plans have all been unraveled. She is just the cutest. What are you complaining about? Wow, they've been having a fight. Uh, what better way to end off? It's where he belongs. Are you willing to join Nazarick? Well, then why didn't he? Yeah, good old Raven. Yeah, I would love to see them get some more plot relevance later on. Because it was cool finally getting to see them after hearing about them. To be fair, he's got plenty of ladies. Oh, and she took it off. Yeah, she is really cute. I didn't even look at the subs because her face was priority. I love the red eyes. I bet they feel honored. You seem like you're not happy about this arrangement. Oh. Had her eat her out, I see. Not bad. Uh, and didn't even have to use resurrection magic on Climb. She didn't even realize that. Oh god. It was cool she had teleportation magic. Oh right, yeah. She's joining, isn't she? We didn't get to see any of this yet. Because she got kind of kidnapped. A lot. Don't bully her, please. Married to who? To Sebas? Like marrying him to get citizenship into Nazarick? That'd be funny. I don't think we heard of marriage before. Back where he belongs. On the throne. Have you? Do you now know how amazing he is? Yeah, definitely greater, like the best there is. Super tier magic. World items. Nice beard. Yeah, for what you wish for. I guess that's that one country whose name I forget. So that was the 13th and final episode of the second season of Overlord. And this episode, yeah, we finished up the battle and everything. We got Demiurge. I'm never gonna remember his fake name. But yeah, he was pretty much in there. He was with all of the Palladius maids. And they were kind of split between Evil Eye and Nabe fighting them. Evil Eye got two of them, of course, because that's like the most you could ever hope to really handle. And then you had Nabe deal with the rest, which was for the most part just kind of talking to them hidden behind cover. But it's still pretty cool seeing Evil Eye, battle them, because Evil Eye is quite powerful. She's not a Pleiadius mage. And meanwhile, you had Mamon and Demiurge fighting. Before we really got into that, though, we had a conversation because Demiurge finally explained exactly what his plan is, like what the merits of this plan is. And yeah, apparently there were 4 of them. Ainz didn't pick up on any of them. He was like, yeah, well, I only got 3 of them, so why don't you just, for everyone's benefit, just say what they are. And yeah, it was pretty much getting items, getting humans to experiment on, covering up their involvement with this whole thing, and gaining prestige for Mamon. That was pretty much the gist of it. And yeah, it makes sense. You probably should have let Ainz know what was going on a bit before things got this far, but it all worked out in the end, I suppose. And the cool thing about the Evil Eye fight is that, well, that's not where we really got the face reveal. We got the face reveal later on when she voluntarily took it off. But I did think that's where it was going, like they were going to break off the mask, because it did partially break off, but no, it never got quite to that level. And yeah, everything worked out. The king even showed up in person, so that had Stronov come, which increased their overall firepower. And eventually, yeah, you had Mamon and Demiurge fight for a little bit. Demiurge was like, "Blast you, Mamon, and your amazingness! I have been vanquished, but you will not hear the last of me," or something like that, and then went off. And, happy ending, everything worked out. Everyone's very appreciative of Mamon's contribution to this whole conflict. Oh yeah, one thing I forgot to mention is we had Brain have a bit of a run-in with Shalltear, because apparently just seeing a little bit of hair on a roof somewhere briefly is enough to know when the person who you have a bit of a grudge against is present. So he went up there and fought her, and he pretty much attacked her. He was able to break her nail, and he was very, very, very proud of that. And just kind of, talking with the others, Climb, and I'm like, oh my god, I broke her fingernail. Do you understand, guys? That I'm incredible. Like, it was very reminiscent of like a child coming to his parent with his terrible macaroni art and wanting to be praised. Like, it was a lot like that. I mean, I get where he's coming from, because considering how their fight went last time when she just kept blocking his sword strikes with her fingernail, yeah, I understand that that's progress and that would make him feel good, but at the end of the day, he broke a fingernail, so, perspective. But yes, good for him, though, I suppose. If that gave him a bit of closure, then good for him. Apparently, the 8 fingers are now servants of Ainz, so that's fitting. We did get to see Tsuwara and Ninya as in her maid outfit, like at Nazarick. She's now one of the maids. At least temporarily, because apparently she's getting married. I assume to Sebis. I don't really remember this being brought up before, but sure, why not? And we got a brief glimpse near the end of what I'm almost sure is the Baharuth Empire, because we've gotten very little of them. We've had them mentioned before, but we never really saw much about them. And somebody made a comment about some crazy wizard from that kingdom, and we saw an old guy with a long beard, and that's clearly the wizard. I would almost bet on it. And the one guy lying down's their ruler. So there really are a lot of blonde people in this show. But yeah, so I assume if we got a 3rd season, it would mostly focus on the Baharuth Kingdom Empire. Like, we would get more of that. I assume so, at least. And I do hope that the Blue Roses come into play again at some point, because they're really cool characters. I especially like Evil Eye. She's really fun. She's adorable. I would like her to have more screen time in the show, is I guess the best way to put it, because she is wonderful. And Lacuse, I want to say the leader's name is Fiendish Leader. Her sword is really cool, and she's a nice little Chuny character who would also be fun to have on screen. And of course, Gagarin is fun. She's always fun. And the 2 twin ninja girls, they're not as memorable as any of the others, but still, they're part of the package, and I do like them as well. So anyway, my thoughts on this season as a whole. I liked it for the most part. Obviously, the biggest criticism, like, if you ask every Overlord fan out there what their biggest criticism of the season would be, it's going to be lizards. The whole lizard arc, which they spent a lot of time on, and during that time, it was mostly the lizards, like in any given episode. So there's a lot of times you kind of forget you're even watching Overlord. So yeah, that would probably be my biggest complaint with the series, because I didn't really dislike the lizard stuff. Some of the lizards were cool, and I enjoy learning about them because it's more world building, you know. So that's always something to appreciate. Because Overlord's always been big on world building. Because that's one of the problems, the arguments I saw, criticisms I saw of the first season is that they spent a lot of time world building in the beginning before they really got to the action. And yeah, if you are a person that only really likes action, you'll probably get a little bit frustrated watching the show in general. Because, yeah, there's a lot of world building and character development and stuff in between the action. Of course, I like all this stuff, so I'm fine with it. Just, I don't think I liked the lizard stuff quite enough to be completely okay with the amount of screen time the lizard stuff got. I think it's the best way I can phrase my opinion on that matter. Like, I would have liked to cut maybe a little bit of it out, compact it a bit more. It's not like anybody would complain about the lizard stuff being rushed as long as they hit the important notes. I did like Lulu. Lulu Krush, whatever her name was. She, like, the way she, pretty sure she had Aqua's voice actress, and she was a priest, so I obviously got quite a kick out of that. And her backstory of her tribe and the cannibalism and stuff, that was always obviously interesting to get into. And it just, probably my second biggest complaint of the season is probably just the lack of Ainz in it. I mean, he got a bit more in the second half than the first half, I feel, especially when he went all Mamon mode and inserted himself into this conflict. It obviously went up. And he obviously had to have some talks with Sebes about whether or not he actually betrayed him. Because that was something that had to be addressed. And it was cool how they did that little fake out where they had Pandora's actor show up as to pretend to be Ainz until they were sure it was safe. Like, Sebes wasn't going to try to assassinate him or anything, which I assume was Demiurge's idea, judging by their back and forth. And I obviously didn't realize it was Pandora's actor at first, because I kind of forgot he was in the show. I just knew something was definitely up with some of the things he said in his exit line. At that point, I was sure something was up, but I couldn't quite click it because, like I said, I kind of forgot about that character because he didn't really have much screen time in either seasons, really, to be honest. And he was a cringy character, so it's kind of like one of those characters you want to forget about, if that makes sense. Because yeah, I'm sure Ainz would have wanted to forget about him. That was very evident in the first season. It was cool getting Sebes to have a bit more spotlight himself, because he's always been a pretty cool butler. And we got more into his backstory, how he was made by Touch Me, some of his conflicts with Demiurge because their creators have conflicts similar to what we got between Buku Buku Chakama and some of these names are hard to remember. Between Shalltear and the female Dark Elf masters. Like, they bickered because they were siblings, and Shalltear and her bicker because they were made by the siblings. Like, it's a similar dynamic to that. It'll be easier to remember those, the former masters' names that they were actually in the show itself, instead of just being talked about and maybe getting a bit of spotlight and flashbacks, like we did get with Ulbert and Touch Me a little bit. But yes, it was cool getting to see more of that, because Sebes has always been pretty cool. And the most justice of them wanting to save the human, even though Solution didn't like that, so they butt heads a lot. And this is the season where we got the Blue Roses actually on screen doing stuff, which is obviously a big plus to it, because we had heard about the Blue Roses before, so it does kind of, we want to see them, because there's not a whole lot of adamantite level adventure parties. Like, you have Ainz's with Momon and Nabe, and then you have them, and then one other one. Like, they're not a common thing, so it was cool that we got to see them in action, get to see just how much power this world, how powerful warriors of this world can get that aren't like from Yggdrasil. So that's the coolest thing about them. And they're honestly just fun characters, like I said before. And we also got the Minya from the first season's sister, like the girl who was in the Black Sword adventuring group, whatever they were called, Black Swords. And yeah, because she had mentioned something about her sister before that she wanted to help. But unfortunately, she and her entire group were killed by Clementine. And it's great that Ainz, who was once, you know, kind of affiliated with them, was able to, in the end, find her sister and help her out. So that's really cool. And, of course, my speculation that was the princess's sister was, of course, completely false, but it was a sister to some character, so I'm going to take half credit on being correct there, because I can. And I did not really expect Sebes to have any kind of love interest in this show, so it is kind of interesting how that kind of became a ship. Definitely not something I would have expected in the first season when I watched that. That's to be sure. And Brain obviously had his grudges, his trauma involved with Shalltear, who just kind of broke his world. For the most part, he ended up running from that encounter like a coward. So that's definitely been on his mind for a while. And he finally sort of, kind of, in a way, if you squint your eyes, got revenge, I guess. So he got some kind of closure on that, which is good for him. I never really cared about Brain, like, at all, for the most part, but, you know, good for him. And Climb, who was the princess's servant, he kind of got his fair share of screen time in this season. He got the guy to do his stuff. I didn't care so much about him either. Don't tell the princess I said that, though. And speaking of the princess, she's quite the character. Definitely not quite what she seemed initially. She has a nickname as being a monster, and we did get to see a bit more about why that's the case. Of course, I wouldn't really call her a monster. I can see why people who just don't understand her might view her as one, but I'd say she's a pretty good person deep down. Very complex person. And she's pretty nice to Climb, you know, she's willing to resurrect him if he dies. You know, not everyone would be willing to go so far with a person. And yeah, he's strong enough to actually survive that resurrection. Not everyone is. Like Alyminya wouldn't have been. And yeah, apparently other people besides Ainz can do resurrection magic. I don't know if it's as strong. This probably has more like consequences to it. Because first time resurrection magic came into play in the season was with the lizards, because lizards actually just got killed, which caught me off guard, but it made more sense when they decided to just resurrect them. Which is good because, you know, wouldn't want to stop the lizard love, after all. Those lizards, yeah. The lizard stuff definitely did have its moments, like, especially with Ainz when he was peeping on the lizards doing their lizard love. That was a hilarious scene. But, you know, the same scene where he sits on Shalltear as his new throne. That was top tier scene in general. Really. And yeah, the one scene where I think Lulu tells the male lizard to impregnate her. Like, there was definitely some good lizard stuff here and there. Like I said, my only complaint is I wish it was maybe a bit shorter, a bit more compressed, abridged, if you will. Because I know that caused some people to either drop the show or lessen their opinion of it, to be sure. In any case, this was a very solid season. For me, it was a solid 8 out of 10, and I hope to get more. Thank you for watching, and thank you Cnouki, the Dragon of Oshu, as well as everyone else, for doing what you can to support the channel. It means a lot to me, and I hope we can continue to grow the channel together. If you want to do more to support the channel, then you can become a patron on my Patreon and get cool rewards like early access to certain videos. Have a good one.